Latest Manchester United news and transfer news as Manchester United prepare to walk away from a Mason Mount transfer. I know that's going to please a lot of you in the chat, but I don't think that's good news. Also, David De Gea is not on the retained list for Manchester United. Does this mean he's leaving Manchester United? We'll give you clarity on that. Also, in relation to the sale, a little bit more clarity on that. We spoke about this morning. It's funny how people do pick up on these things, isn't it? Effectively, the Glazers are holding Sir Jim and QATAR to ransom. They are basically playing them off each other, and they'll play them off each other for as long as they can to get the price that they can get. Also, there is a lot of people within Manchester United who are very unhappy at the moment when it comes to the sale. Upward hundreds of Manchester United employees fed up with this sale. So ultimately what you've got is 90% club, says Jay. In relation to this sale, what you have is employees of Manchester United fed up, senior executives at Manchester United fed up, Ten Hag fed up, certain players fed up, the fan base fed up, the media fed up, Sir Jim Ratcliffe fed up, QATAR and Al Thani fed up, the wider world fed up. The only people who are causing millions of people to be fed up are the Glazers and their obsession with money and just keeping this rolling and rolling. And what they're doing is they're holding Sir Jim and Al Thani to ransom, and they're using the transfer window as the stick to beat them with, because they're going, you could have the club by now. Oh, look at Arsenal getting Rice. Oh, look at Real Madrid getting Bellingham. Oh, look at what's going to happen with Caicedo. It could have been you, but you won't give us what we want. So they're basically, that's what's going on. In a very short sentence, that is what's going on. That's what's been going on for 6 months. They're playing one off the other. And it was a fantastic article I read this morning where basically, if Sir Jim doesn't walk away, this could go on for a very long time, because you're just going to get one bid. Are you going to bid? Yep. Are you going to bid? Yep. And if they won't pull out, then it is going to run on and on and on. Let's fly into the breaking news, though. We're going to talk about Mason Mount. This is coming in from basically coming in from the Chelsea side of things. A journalist who, let me just get the name correct, works in London, and effectively is saying that it's Nizar Kinsella, who is a Chelsea, Fulham and England journalist for Standard Sport. Nearly 500,000 followers. And what he's saying about Mason, he's even got Mason Mount on his profile. He says Mount is unlikely to get any offers beyond Manchester United in time for pre-season. Others interested but not ready to move at the moment. Pochettino wants him to stay, but his mind seems to be made up after underproductive renewal talks with the hierarchy. Effectively, Mason Mount will leave Chelsea on a free transfer if talks with Manchester United collapse. United walked away from Harry Kane over price and would with Mount if priced out. Interesting few weeks coming up as they don't want a saga. So this is really interesting because there's probably quite a few of you who don't and wouldn't want to, who would like to see Manchester United walk away from a Mason Mount deal, and this may well end up happening if we don't get this resolved really, really quickly. Mason Mount is and could well end up being another Harry Kane saga for United. So that's coming in from a really good source close to the Chelsea side of things. I don't know what to say about this. I mean, I don't think it's a good news. But you have to look at the situation and say that with regards to Mason Mount, this is a player that Erik Ten Hag wants to sign. This is a player that Man United have prioritised at the start of this transfer window. And this is a player that we could get priced out of. Now, it's interesting because Kovacic has just had... Apparently, Man City are going to get Kovacic for about £30 million. He's got 1 year left on his deal. He's 28. Mason Mount's got 1 year left on his deal. He's 24. Is that double the price? You know, I don't think it is. It's the English tax, isn't it? But the Mason Mount deal is the one that United are working on at the moment. But I also think that it's problematic potentially because Chelsea clearly don't want to see Mason Mount go. And Chelsea clearly are going to make this very, very difficult for United. And it's very interesting how Harry Kane was referenced, because I think with Harry Kane, you've got a situation with Harry Kane where Man United really, really wanted Harry Kane, but knew that they faced a situation where they were going to have to walk away because they couldn't get him out of Spurs. Now with Chelsea, that could be the same situation. And I'm saying situation a lot because it's fluid, but it's concerning because it's a scenario that we've been through time and time and time again with Manchester United, where they're just inadequate when it comes to doing these types of deals. And I worry about. I think we will get this deal done. I don't think we'll walk away, but there's clearly deadlock here. And United are clearly saying the player wants to come to us. He's only got a year left on his contract. We're not going to pay more than probably 50 million quid. But Chelsea are going to say he's a really important player that we want to keep. He's 24. He's English. We're not going to sell him for anything less than 65. And I think that could be the problem. And ultimately, we'll either cave in or walk away. Joe, thank you very much for joining the members club. How can we sign players now? The deal still needs to be done and the takeover will take over 2 months. Oh, God. That's a super chat from Qui. If somebody wants to let him know in the chat that you can do transfers when you've not. So basically, we're not a bird flying around Manchester with no owner. We're owned by the Glazers. So of course, we can do transfers, and we will do transfers, but it's not going to be easy when we've got this. Apparently, we've had a tweet coming in from Mullock in the Mirror. I love it. I love being live because the great thing is my computer's going slower than Harry Maguire. I think it's dying in the heat, and I can't even see the chat because it's like stuck on people going, Goldbridge is fed up. David De Gea is set to leave Manchester United this summer, according to Disco Mirror. Wow, that is massive news. David De Gea is expected to leave Manchester United this summer. So that's literally broken. I mean, the tweet I can see is Beth saying tears in my eyes. Look, I get the fun side of this, but, seriously, have a word with yourself. I can't stand that level of football support. This is a guy who's been a legend of this football club. Give him some fucking respect. Tears in my eyes. Celebrations. All right, you've got what you want. Well done. But you've already got what you want. Why can't you step forward and give a bit of respect? Why is it like, oh, tears in my eyes of players going? I think it's so disrespectful. It's so disrespectful. You've got what you want. Why are you doing party crackers and everything like that? Have you got no humility or class? Do you not know what this football club is all about? We're Manchester United. Like, he's been a very, very good player for us for over a decade. He's won numerous Player of the Seasons awards. If he is leaving, show a bit of class. I mean, I get it. I've always said I get it. Like, I wouldn't get rid of him. No, I wouldn't get rid of him. But guess what? I'm a grown adult who is used to football being all over the place. And logically, I think the fact that deal wasn't signed 2 weeks ago, you start to talk about what we've been talking about with Saudi Arabia, and you go, well, you know what? It's not looking good, is it? But if you wanted him to go, you've got what you want. Can you not just show a bit of respect and say he's been a fantastic player for this player? And just show a bit of respect. Like, just show a bit of respect. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I don't get the celebrations about it. If Marcus Rashford left to PSG, why would anybody celebrate? So I don't actually get it. I don't really understand it. But look, people are entitled to their own opinion. Of course they are. But yeah, it's disappointing from my point of view. I'm not going to lie. I'm concerned. I really am concerned about what that means for our transfer budget. But you know what? it is what it is, and it doesn't massively surprise me. Let me just put a tweet out. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Harry Maguire, welcome to the Members Club. David De Gea leaving Manchester United by the looks of it. I mean, and look, one thing I will say here is that when it comes to Manchester United, let me just send a message to Beth. When it comes to Manchester United, it's when it comes to Manchester United, we know we've got a limit. I mean, look, there's going to be a lot of people out there getting very excited about David De Gea leaving, but I'll go back to what we've said numerous times. There is no make or model that changes this situation with regards to the budget. The budget is what it is. You don't get more money because David De Gea leaves on a free. So if you've got 300 million, it's 300 million. If you've got 150 million, it's 150 million. If you've got 200 million, it's 200 million. We don't get more money to go and buy a goalkeeper because David De Gea leaves. So I think that in itself is a little bit of a concern. But I've got to say, I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. I'm really sorry. I can't pick up. And all I'm getting on my live chat is fed up. It's just stuck. Bet's getting out of hand, says Chelsea. Right, they're whizzing through now. Oh, God, I'm surprised I'm even streaming here. This computer, since I've loaded it up, has decided to become Harry Maguire. Dagenham Dave says, I hate this club sometimes. We'll lose Ten Hag soon if this carries on. We've missed out on Bellingham, Rice, Casido, and now McAllister. That's from Dagenham Dave. And get rid of Beth. Well, no. All I'm saying is, I'm not saying get rid of Beth. Beth's been very consistent that she wants to get rid of De Gea. There's a lot of people that want to get rid of De Gea. But I just think it's classless when he's potentially going and you start celebrating, because I don't get that. You've got what you want. You know, you don't think David De Gea is good enough to be our goalkeeper. That's absolutely fine. I can't have an opinion if somebody else has an opinion. That's absolutely fine. But if he does leave, I would implore everybody, instead of celebrating, you've got to look at his career at Manchester United and say, he's been one of our best. He's got more clean sheets than any other goalkeeper in our history. So show some class, because one thing we are as a football club, and one thing that can't be debated, is that as a football club, we are a class football club. So show some class. I'm not actually as sad as I thought it would be. I watched Onana last week and I was like, fucking, I'd love, he's box office. I'd like that. Costa is a goalkeeper I really appreciate, but I wouldn't have done it because I'm more pragmatic than some people. And I go, we've got a set budget. We need a striker, 2 midfielders and a centre-back. If De Gea leaves, I've got to sacrifice one of those to replace him with a goalkeeper. I've only got a set budget. So for me, the De Gea thing didn't make sense to do. I'm very sad that if he is leaving, there's no departure thing. But he might have gone on holiday. He might have looked at social media. He might have looked at the offer from Saudi Arabia, and he might have gone, you know what? Let's do it. And Dean Henderson could be your goalkeeper now. And if Dean Henderson's your goalkeeper, then all the best. All the best, because I don't rate him as our Manchester United goalkeeper. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. Tony says that we need a transition period with the keeper because the weight of that jersey is heavy and it took him a few years to get this level, says Tony. Want to keep him or not? Never should have got to a point where he can walk. This again is down to the backroom staff, says Tolja. Fantastic point. Absolutely fantastic point. Anthony Martial is also set to be offloaded according to the articles. Is the spin coming out from the club, says Olivia. I mean, how do you... So there's a really good point there. We won't get any money for David De Gea. He's 32, 33. He's just won the Golden Glove. I don't care whether you can't stand De Gea or whether you like him like me. There's a value there. 10, 15, 20. You know, he's not 35. He's just won the Golden Glove. There's money walking out the door again, which nobody will acknowledge because they're too busy doing their bloody party poppers about it. Martial, you know, I do worry. I worry about what it is we're trying to do, and we've clearly messed up in a way, but it might work out better in the long run. David De Gea must be allowed to do what he wants to do. Same with everybody else, of course. There's no two ways about it. I presume he'll go to Saudi Arabia, but you know, I don't actually blame him. You know, I have a personal opinion, but I don't actually blame him. You know, you look at the stuff Roy Keane has said, look at the stuff Gary Neville has said. You know, these are ex-players of the club, ex-legends of the club who publicly undermined him. You know, there's no loyalty amongst them lot, is there? And I just think it's sad he won't get a farewell, because I think he's played in a period over the last decade where we've been shit for reasons that weren't his fault. He probably should have 3 or 4 Premier League winners' medals. Like, he was good enough to win them. There were times around 2015 and 16 and 14 where he was winning Player of the Year awards because he was stopping us finishing in the bottom half of the table. So I think his legacy is a good one. I just think some people have shat all over it over the last few months and not shown enough class. You can replace a player. Look, Rooney went and he didn't get shat on. I want a new keeper who's better with his feet, but I've nothing but love and respect for Dave. I'm 26 and he's been the keeper almost half my life, says Joshua. Lovely message, Joshua, there. I fear the post-Schmeichel circus, says Mojo. And Beth is probably too young to remember this dark days before the Great Dane and Van der Sar. This will haunt us next season, says Rob K. I mean, look, I said this a few days ago. Careful what you wish for, because it could be Dean Henderson. And that, to me, is terrifying. What if United say, we can't afford a goalkeeper, Eric? And he goes, well, I'll have to use Dean Henderson. What if Dean Henderson's going to be Man United's goalkeeper next year? Because you're gonna be moaning a lot more than you have about David De Gea. So let's keep an eye on this. It's going to be very interesting. But I don't actually care either way what happens, as long as we start becoming a football club again. That's the most important thing. And we're going to struggle to do that, of course, with this current ownership model. I can't speak about... I'm going to have to go to my fucking phone. This is a joke. I can't believe a laptop, which I've been using all season... I mean, it's just... That's gone now as well. This is a joke. It's just decided to die on me. Apparently Beth wants to go live. Shall we let her? I think we shall. I think we shall. This is a joke now. This is absolutely stupid. I'm fuming. I can't... My chat's just frozen. That's gone as well. And anybody... Well... Not receiving enough video to smooth Streamly. Oh, it's just gonna die. It's gonna die. It's definitely gonna die. It's not even the internet. It's not even the internet. It's the laptop. I've got loads of internet. Duncan says relief and celebration of him leaving. That's gonna whiz through, Duncan. I can't even get it back. Let's have a look. Relief and celebration of him leaving. Instant reactions from those who have wanted him out for a long time. Respect and humility will follow later, says Duncan. And it is heartbreaking to watch all the players going elsewhere. I wish all the best for David De Gea. Thank you very much there. It seems to be holding up a little bit here. So, yeah, that's good. Right, we're going to get Beth live because I feel that, you know, my side of the story is going to be very different to everybody else's. Are we still live here? Because this computer's just, when things start shutting down, it's like this isn't working, that's not working. So I'm just going to carry on. So just back to Mason Mount. I'm going to do a video later on Rasmus Højlund because I'm waiting to hear back on somebody. They've got an international game today, so they're probably quite busy. Yeah, I will do a video on Højlund later. Okay, well, I mean, let me just have a look. On this David De Gea situation, it seems to me that your sources close to the situation say that the contract talks are looking bleak with David De Gea and Manchester United. David De Gea's contract situation at Man United has gotten more and more uncertain in recent weeks, with compromises on both sides required to reach an agreement. This looks like it's financial, This doesn't look like it's Erik ten Hag saying, get rid of him. This looks like it's a financial problem, doesn't it? Which is typical of Manchester United, really. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. I'm trying to get this bloody thing back. I'm trying to stay. I am trying to stay with you, but as you can see, I don't know what's going on here. Hopefully that will start to work again. Right, I've got my chat back, which is the main thing. Yeah, so I was going to end up just talking about the whole Mason Mount situation and what that means for United, but I feel that this David De Gea thing has sort of caught me on the hop. But I think, look, you know how I work. I'm very opinionated. I'll always have an opinion, but I've never been blind to the reasons people I respect wanted to replace the goalkeeper. I wanted to wait another year because I know the budget's limited and I don't want to spend £50 million on a goalkeeper, and I don't want Dean Henderson to be the goalkeeper. So if David De Gea goes, I'm like you. I want Costa, I want Onana, but they will cost you 50 million quid. But I also know we don't have that 50 million quid, because if we did, Ten Hag would probably do it anyway. So what Ten Hag wants to do is keep David De Gea and work on a replacement over the next, 12 months. What he might have to do now is somehow, and we spoke about this last night, find a plan where David De Gea leaves, he gets a goalkeeper that's good enough to replace him, but what does he do about everything else? I think what might happen is, I can see a scenario. If De Gea leaves, you buy Costa for 50, you get Rabiot on a free, you get Mason Mount for 60, so that's 50 for the keeper, 60 for Mount, 110, Rabiot on a free, and the rest goes on a striker, and that's it. You don't get a centre-back, you keep Harry Maguire. So I can see 200 million being spent, but goalkeeper, Rabiot on a free, Mason Mount, and a striker. That's what I think can happen. We won't get a centre-back, we'll keep Harry Maguire. I'd rather keep De Gea than Maguire, and I'd rather we got something a little bit better than Rabiot. But I think that's how you work. That's how you have to work in a transfer window when things are going on that are beyond it. It's not been confirmed, EJ. It's not been confirmed. But what we are hearing is that the De Gea situation is because of the contract. He's on 350k a week. They want to take him down to probably 200k a week, which is it's almost a 50% reduction, isn't it? So I think what's going on there is that there's obviously contract issues, and also Saudi Arabia will offer him quite a lot of money. So, we'll see what happens. With Mason Mount, should they walk away if the money's not there? Should they walk away if Chelsea want too much? Yes, they should. And I wanted to say this now that we've got the chat working back again. I do want to say that we should walk away from the Mason Mount deal if Chelsea have got us over a barrel. Because I guarantee you there are plenty of number 8s that are as good as Mason Mount that are cheaper than £60 million. And you can start throwing them out there. I mean, Alexis McAllister was one, but he's already gone. We cannot be held to ransom this summer. If we're going to walk away from Harry Kane because it's too much money, you've got to walk away from Mason Mount. Those days have got to stay. What if it's Jordan Pickford? If it's Jordan Pickford, I don't care whether Qatar get hold of the club or not. That's going to make me cry. I mean, I'll always back a Man United player. I'll always back a player. I'll always back a new signing. I did it with Fellaini. I'll do it with Lukaku. But I'll also... Everybody is entitled to their opinion. Some people don't want Mason Mount. Some people do want Mason Mount. I'm quite happy to back Erik ten Hag. But, you know, ultimately, you can't pay too much money for it. That, to me, would be the big mistake. So, hopefully, that won't happen. But, you know, regardless of what people say, it's a big event if it happens. Stephen Ryan says, thanks for everything you do. Just found out yesterday my girl cheated on me over the past 3 years with my neighbour. He watches the United stand. His name is Tim Carter and he's a prat. I hope you see this. Stephen against Tim. United stand sponsored boxing event. Charity boxing. Stephen against Tim. Most people will be on Stephen's side. But on the other hand, you know, you don't. There might always be two sides. Tim, what have you got to say about that? Come on, Tim, tell us. You know, some of us are feeling cheated on anyway with David De Gea potentially going. But no, on a serious note, this is football. You know, this is what it's all about. These things can happen. These things do happen. There ain't no dispute about that. So I'm mature enough, and I'm sure you're mature enough to know that this was always a possibility. And it's funny with De Gea, isn't it? Because I know Beth's going to have her say, but it's funny with De Gea because I feel that I've gone from majority to minority on this opinion, and I don't care. It's my opinion, but I always wanted to keep De Gea, and I think over the season it's changed. The momentum's become more and more, and it's a lesson to learn in football. You saw it with Graham Potter at Chelsea. We saw it with Ollie with Man United. When the tide turns, it's hard to turn it back because those people have made their mind up, and all you need with momentum is more people to agree with that opinion, and that's what's happened with De Gea over the last few months. It was a minority that wanted him to go, and they were never going to change their mind, and then more and more people started joining that minority, and it's probably tipped into a majority. I think the media treatment of De Gea has been disgusting. It's been like it for probably 18 months. As soon as Dean Henderson came into the team, the media wanted an English goalkeeper in goal for Man United, and they've never stopped. But it's the fans that matter, and I think that, you know, the majority probably are quite happy for David De Gea to move on. If that's what's going to happen, and it looks like it is, I disagree, but I respect it. I just hope United aren't going to keep Maguire or use Henderson to do this, because it's you know, it's disappointing. Right, I can barely stream. I'm going to have to go. Beth's going to go live and talk about this David De Gea situation. I've got to go to PC World. You're right, the Insane Devil. I'm absolutely frustrated with this. But look, thanks everyone for tuning in. We could be walking away from Mason Mount. David De Gea could be walking away. And remember what I said at the start about the Glazers. They could keep playing this ping pong between Sir Jim and Althani all summer long and use the transfer window as a stick to beat them with. Take care, everyone. Let's see what Beth's got to say. You know, I just hope she's respectful to De Gea.